I am my brother's keeper. I present to you some of the kings being featured inside Aspiring Authors Magazine Special, Men's History Edition. Stay connected to Queen of Collaborations on Linktree.com. I am Queen Angela Thomas Smith, making a difference in the kingdom where I can.
What is Juneteenth and why is it celebrated? Juneteenth is a blend of words. June and the 19th celebrates the end of enslavement in America. June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. He informed the enslaved African Americans of their freedom and that the Civil War had ended.
You're muted.
I don't know. Can you hear me now? Black Diamond, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what was going on, but I wasn't muted. Um, it wasn't saying it was saying I was not muted, so I don't know what was going on. But like always, I don't even know if y'all heard anything that I said that whole 11 minutes I was
I did
muted.
not.
But nevertheless, it's always something. Um, the enemy always busy. Um, so I wonder did y'all even hear the video? Did you hear the video?
I didn't hear
There was
anything.
no audio at all playing. There was no
No, I
audio
thought you were
at all.
talking to somebody in your background.
No, I played a video. I played. Um,
Oh,
wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. I did hear a video. I did hear something, but as far as you speaking, I didn't hear you at all. I heard something in the
Oh no,
background.
I don't know what was going on, but nevertheless, um, because I wasn't muted, so I don't know what was going on. The devil always
Yeah, I couldn't
busy.
hear you.
Nevertheless, can you hear me fine now?
Yeah, I can hear you very good.
Okay.
Very good.
So I will attempt to try to repeat everything I just said. I'm
Good
just
luck.
grateful. I'm just grateful to be here today. Part two of our Juneteenth celebration. Opportunity to give you and those two other amazing women opportunity to share about what Juneteenth means to you guys, what this journey's been like for you, and what has been an author in that legacy, what that legacy looks like. Because I can't express enough, especially with all that's going on around us. Um, it's just so much going on, and you want people to have your story the way you want it, and not the way that other people um, see it or perceive it or whatever. So I'm grateful for all you authors that are sharing your story and leaving a legacy. Um, so thank you for joining me today. I want you to introduce yourself, and then we're gonna jump into some conversation.
Well, I am Black Diamond. I am parenting 12 children. The majority of them are grown, which is something I've been looking forward to. I still have some at home, so I'm not an empty nester yet. But that time will soon come. I don't even know what I'll do when that happens. Well, I have grandchildren, so that helps. I have written a series on Stacey F. children's books. They were on foster care and adoption and Stacey's journey through foster care. And it also explains to individuals who don't know what the journey is like for a child to be in foster care or the adoption process. So I decided to write it on that story of a little girl named Stacy, and for other little boys and girls out there like Stacy. You know, so many people want to be foster parents and they or adoptive parents, and they just don't know where to start, don't know what it's about. They hear stories, positive and negative stories, but I just wanted to give them a little snippet of what the journey could be like for them and what to expect. So that was the journey on that note. But I wrote another book, and that one was called 1380 Prospect Avenue. And these are for older children who are in the system and what happens to them when they are at that age of being a teenager, when it's harder for them to be adopted, and how certain systems have failed them. So I kept it in that manner because I said that as a social worker myself, I see what happens to children that are teenagers and how they can lose their way through certain systems and how some systems don't connect and work together. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront as well. So individuals can get an idea of what's happening to these children. And when this came about, we decided to do a trailer so it can impact them and so they can get to see what I'm talking about. Because sometimes people will read it without understanding what they're reading. So I wanted to put it into a trailer. So it is 1380 Prospect Avenue, also the trailer.
Wow. I tell you, you are definitely impacting lives. Anytime you can take on someone that you said 12 kids. Wow.
12. Well, three of them are my biological, but they all, I may not have given birth to each and every one of them, but they've been a major part of my life. And this is where I'm at with them right now, being a
The
parent
fact
of
that
12.
you decided that you wanted to be that change in their lives. You wanted to help make a difference in their lives. You know, a lot of time people don't get that opportunity. You know, I happen to be one of the lucky ones as well. Um, I didn't go into the foster system, but I could have been um in the foster system because I lost my mom 12 days after my 16th birthday. My dad really wasn't in my life. You know, he was off doing construction working and had his other little stuff going on too. But my sister, she was 10 years older than me. She decided that, she wasn't going to let anything happen to me. So she took on that burden when she didn't have to. You know, I was her first child. I tell
You know
people
what?
that all
It's
the
funny.
time.
It's funny that you call it a burden. A lot of people do that. They say burden, but I say it's a blessing because it helps us grow. I can speak for me. It took me to a place that I would probably never have experienced because I'll be honest, I love them for life, but I didn't grow up wanting children. I just wanted to focus. I wanted to be an international judge when I graduated from high school, and that's the direction I thought that I was going to go in. And for many people, they'll say that I chose to do this. I don't think that I chose to do this. I think I was chosen to do this. And he continued me on this journey, and it hasn't been easy. Believe me, it has its ups and it has its downs, but he's preparing me for something else. And all I can do is say that I'm here. Use me because that's what you put me here for someone else. You brought me here to do the job that you wanted me to do, and I'm hoping that I'm doing it the right way. So I'm just here. I'm that vessel, and I'm open for it. And he has been taking me through some curves, some curves that I did not expect.
Wow.
But I'm handling it, and I'm just going to keep pushing.
Sometimes those curves that we go through is to prepare us for that thing that we about to walk into. So just know that that next level, you know, that next level that we go to, sometimes we have to be prepared. And I tell you, since I met you, Black Diamond, it just seemed like you've been doing so much. I see you only mentioned two books, but I seen you in a book with Kim Cole. I saw you receive a award, a major award. To me, I think it's major. It's a lifetime achievement award. Anytime somebody can recognize that you have done something to impact somebody's life, that's major. And
I
that
think
was
they
something
impacted
major
my life. I
that I
think each
saw.
one of these children, they impacted my life. Again, I said that I set out to be that judge. I may not have been that judge that the world had wanted. So I think the things that they take me through, you hear some people say, "Oh, my child is taking me through this and they're taking me through that." There's a reason why, and they have taken me through different journeys, and they did to prepare me for the job that I do. When I speak to the youth that I work with, there's always one that's like one of my own children, so I know exactly how to deal with that child. And I often let them know that you remind me of someone I know, and it's usually one of my children, and I can relate to them. So it helps me out in that way, and they teach me a lot. I've learned a lot. I've almost mastered my cell phone, so I don't have the flip phone anymore. So they do teach me a lot on both sides, and it's a give and take kind of relationship with them, with any child. So I'm blessed in that way. But there has been some valleys that I've been through during this journey, and it has been really scary. I thought at one time that it was going to break me. I honestly did. I've been down some rough roads in my lifetime, with and without the other children. And here I am going through a little bit more right now. But I'm starting to see some light with it. And I'm just hoping that it continues. And I just feel greatness coming for all. And that's what this whole thing was about. And I'm starting to see that people are starting to understand that this is what has actually been going on. And it's one of those other things that it's taken me through to prepare me for what's to come next. And I'm doing my homework.
Wow. I tell you, sometimes we just sit back and we be like, why? Well, with me, because I know we all see things different. Because some of us may look at that cup and it may look half empty, and some of us it may say it's half full. But me, I'm gonna say it's half full, because I'm always the optimistic one. But I tell you, you have such an amazing outlook on any situation. You know, I'm just sitting here, just listening to you, and you say I said burden, you say no, not burden. And I just love that, because you know I'm sure my sister didn't think I was a burden. you know she was a blessing to me. And I hear her oftentimes say um different little things to correct me too, because she even with my nephew, everybody know I don't have kids, and she allowed me to be a part of his life. He's like my son. And even with him leaving on this weekend, to go out of the country, you know, we all shared some tears. I had to fly a whole week early because I had to spend some time with him, and then I wanted him to have some time with his mama too, but I had to have that time too with him. And my sister appreciate that. She appreciate the fact that I can do a little something for him that she can't. And that's what it's, that village. You had that village mentality. You thought about somebody other than Black Diamond, even though you may have had your own kids and your own stuff going on. You thought about these other people, and just imagine how many lives it has impacted. Just imagine how many lives it has affected.
And I grew up with a pretty large family. My mom is the last of 16, and I'm the youngest of eight. So I grew up with a large family, and I was always told that if you have leftovers, then you can give that to another child. And we always had leftovers, so we always was able to provide for another child. And coming into my home, even neighborhood friends, they just played, and people just thought everybody was family, and that's just the way that it was growing up. And that's not what we have now. When you look out there now, that's not the same thing. I often talk to them about some of the things that we've been through growing up. One of the famous things is that street light. Don't let that catch you before, I come down the steps. And we just knew our foot would be sitting on the steps, would be sitting there, and we would just look up and look at the screen door and know that they were looking down at us to make sure that we were there. And we were. We were given permission maybe to go out maybe a little longer, but they just need to make sure that we were safe. At that time, as a child, you don't realize that that's what your parent is doing. You're just thinking that they don't want you to have fun and enjoy themselves, and they don't know what it's like. They do know what it's like being a child. I'm hearing that a lot now, and when I hear my daughter correcting her children, I just sit back and I smile because I say, that sounds like me. But that sounds like my mother too. So I heard my mother. She may not have thought that I didn't. When you turn that head to the side and you try to roll your eyes and don't want her to see that you're doing, that's that ear that's actually listening. So my daughter probably did the same thing, and hopefully her children will do the same thing. We did listen. And I just want to tell the parents out there that they're listening to you. But you have to worry about the way that you say it and who they're listening to. And that's one of the things that I say when I say families fell apart. Systems are broken, but families fell apart. And I think it's time that we start to put them back together. And with this celebration of Juneteenth, it's given me a lot to look at. And it is a lot happening. And just like you said prior to this, there's a lot happening. And it's about time that some of this stuff had started happening. I think we're starting to be recognized for not just the negative things that they assume that we come with, but for a lot of the positive things. And I think that we, as a society, is starting to wake up. Some of us may still be asleep, but a lot of us are starting to wake up and join in on what the possibilities are.
Right. Wow. That was a mouthful there. A lot of us are starting to wake up. I tell you, people don't understand the power that they possess, what's on the inside of them, and the things that they can manifest in this world. Um, I tell you, I'm grateful. Really, truly, Juneteenth. What does that truly mean to you?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and pretend about anything because that's not who I am. Until I moved to the state that I'm in, I heard nothing about it. Growing up in school, nothing about it. Nobody mentioned it. And community that I grew up in, I didn't hear about it. Maybe some were talking about it. I just didn't hear about it. Again, I'm not trying to make any excuses or anything, but I was more so trying to survive for the past 20 some years in ways that others couldn't even imagine. So if I had not had the opportunity to sit down and relax for some moments, I probably wouldn't have known who certain presidents were because we were dealing with a lot. Myself and my children, we were dealing with a lot that what was going on out there didn't matter to me. It did not. Because when I say I was trying to survive, I was trying to survive a hit put out on us. I was trying to survive being a witness to a crime and having to go into hiding. So I had not known about a lot of things. And yes, people are saying as old as you are, maybe you should have known. You don't know my life. But I'm learning a lot about it now. And it means so much to me that I'm so grateful when this opportunity came for me to come on and just to speak about anything that's dealing with we as a people. And when I say we as a people, I don't want to just say we because we're African Americans, because you have people that have other shades that it does mean a lot to them too, because maybe they have family members or close friends that they feel it too. So I don't want to take that away from anybody. I don't want to use this as a platform to say it's just a we thing and I'm speaking for me. I can't speak for how other people feel, but I'm learning more and more about Juneteenth. People say, oh, you should just be grateful to have the day off, but that day meant something to somebody else. So I'm learning about it and I'm teaching my children more about it because we only get that 1 month, and that's February. And some of the schools are still not doing what they need to do. So my children know that they get it in school, but they get it home too, but they get it every month. So to celebrate Juneteenth does mean a lot to me. And again, I'm starting to embrace it in many different ways, in the way that I do things, the way that I speak to people, and just be around my mother. because I say, she was born in 1925. She's still with me. She's 97 years old. So I talk to her about a lot of things, and I speak to other people that's a little older about certain things, and maybe they know about it and maybe they don't. But when I had spoken to my mother and I mentioned Juneteenth, she just looked at me, and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know whether she was looking at me because she knew what it was or because I didn't know what it was. And this was a long time ago, so I don't want to embarrass myself any more than that. But I'm so happy to be learning more about it each and every day, and it's a wonderful thing to learn about history, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it.
Right, exactly. Well, I thank you for being a part. It's nothing like creating legacy and sharing your story so people can know who you are. So thank you for being a part on today. Um, legacy, you are definitely doing that. How long have you been a social worker?
Ooh, I've been working with children and families for over 40 years,
40 years.
professional and profession unprofessional. Well, I wouldn't say it's. I don't think that social work could ever be unprofessional. What you do if you're working with children and families. I started learning more about it when I was 17, but it wasn't the route that I wanted to go up, and that was only because I had went to court and got custody of my niece. So I had to learn about certain parts of the system. And what I had learned about it still didn't pique my interest. I just was interested in making sure that my niece didn't go into care and that somebody was able to take care of her. And then I wound up getting custody of other nieces and nephews, two nephews, as a matter of fact. And I still didn't have any children of my own. So my gears changed. I started raising my nephews and my niece. And then years later, I had my own children. So they laugh at me because they come in threes. That's where we get the 12 of them from. The first three was my niece and my two nephews. Then I gave birth to my three children. And then another set of threes came, which were two nieces, well, as a matter of fact, three nieces. And then came, more and more. So it just continued to come to where I have 12 now. It just was a wonderful thing to be working in that field. So I said I might as well learn more about it because I had to know about foster care. I had to know about adoption. I had to know what to do, what not to do, how to represent myself. I said I wanted to go to school to be an international judge, so I had to go by way of being a lawyer. So I was able to represent myself in court to get custody of my nieces and my nephews. So it did work out, on both parts. There's still some parts of me that wish I had got a little bit more legal advice in certain situations, but it still worked out. I was able to get them all, and that's where I'm at. So I continue to work now with grandparents to work on grandparents' rights because grandparents don't have the rights to their grandchildren. And I've learned that firsthand when I went the first time to try to get custody of my grandchildren. And they're in a very good place. They're being very well taken care of. They're still with family, but the system does not acknowledge grandparents' rights except when they remove children from families. That's when they start to come look for the grandparents, which is what I say is a problem. They need to continue to work with us. If a grandparent is going to step forward and say that they want their grandchild, could you imagine somebody my age, 60, 70, and 80 years of age, saying that they want their grandchild? Do you really think we want to start all over? You're thinking because we're doing it for the money? I don't think so. I know this grandparent didn't, and I'm quite sure most grandparents, they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because they love their grandchild and they don't want their grandchild in the system. If their son or daughter or whoever is related to them and they're going through something at that time, they're in a dark place, they just want to step up to protect the child at the same time. Why wait for the system to get involved before you listen to the grandparent? But I went back a second time to get custody of my grandson, and I won. So after that win, and it wasn't where it was a me against this person, it was us together because we spoke about what was in the best interest of the child, plus in the best interest of the individual, and we was able to work together. So I wouldn't say that we worked the system. I believe that we was able to look at the system and see what could go wrong. So we worked together, and that's what I do with grandparents. I want to help them on their journey. It's not about trying to get over on the system because that's not what I do. It's about what's in the best interest of the grandchild and the family, and it's about keeping the families together. So many families have fallen apart, and so many parts of the system just don't work. And I think if parts of that system was to go back to the beginning of where it started and look to see what we did and use what we have, I think we'll have a wonderful thing.
Mhm. Wow. You touching on some good stuff here today. I'm telling you. I do want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. Um, so the hot topic right now is Roe versus Wade. Um, what are your thoughts on
I would like to go back to the beginning of when it started. First case for myself, not to ask anybody questions. I'm that type of person that have to look at things, read them, take them apart, and put it back together so it makes sense for me. Because that's what I'm looking at it for. So I would be able to give others information and resources and some knowledge. There's many sides to this Roe versus Wade. And one of the things that keep pressing on my mind is they're saying that the woman don't have the right to have the abortion because the child that she's carrying has the right to live. And I get that anybody should have the right to live. I get that. Where I come from with my belief is that a woman, in the event that she is raped and she's carrying the baby of the rapist, she can give birth to that baby. And at some point in time, she may not want to keep that baby because it could remind her of the rapist. But if she decides to keep that baby and raise that baby, that rapist has a right to that baby. And that means that he has a right to continue to harass this woman. So at what point in time is the system, another part of the system, starting to think outside of the box as far as what is in the best interest of that baby, of that mother, and of society? I'm not going to sit here and say whether I'm pro choice or whether I'm not. For one, because it's none of nobody's business. And I'm not trying to start a floodgate anywhere. I just want people to start to think of what's really going on, what is actually happening. Not your own personal opinion, because I can sit here and give mine. So I made that as one instance, but I have to look at others at the same time. I can look at a husband and wife. The wife may not want a child at that time. Should she be able to go in there and have an abortion without anybody saying anything, a husband saying anything? That's another case. I think it could possibly go on a case by case basis for a woman's right. I think that if they do that, they may be able to move forward with a whole bunch of other things because this Roe versus Wade, it's going to set a precedence for a whole bunch of other things that was set into place. They have no idea. People are going to start looking into other things and starting to have things overturned. You're going to start having murder cases overturned. People are going to be looking at certain things. So before they actually made a decision on that, they should see how it's going to affect everything else. Because how did it affect us when they did it in the first place? So now they should rewind and look to see how do they think it's going to affect us. That Roe versus Wade affected us in a certain type of way back then. And it started setting things up for other things. Now you turned it around, it's going to start setting things up again.
it?
And it's going to be much bigger than what we expected.
And see, people don't understand that. A lot of doors was open because well, I'm not gonna say a lot of doors was open. A lot of things were put into place because of Roe versus Wade. And then now that it's not, then what about those things that were put in place because of that? Can they still hold up? That these are the
This is where
questions
the
that
problem's
a
going
lot of
to
people are
be.
asking. And then a lot of people got a lot of questions. How can you decide what is And well, why is this ain't and why is this ain't? Because there's a lot of questions. People are asking a lot of questions now, and they
Yeah,
coming up
you
with
are going
these
to have a lot of questions because if you force the person to keep the child or to have the child, there's medical bills, there's that person's life that they're looking at, changes and whatnot. No matter how this person got pregnant, if the person decides not to keep the child but go full term because you're saying that they can't have the child, they can't have the abortion, then that means the child is placed into another system, foster care. Then that's something else that starts to open up. How many of these children are going to be in foster care? When the system is already broken as it is, what do you think is going to happen now? And then you're going to have people who's going to go and want to be foster parents. You're going to have to look at it a totally different way. This is a child, possibly, and I'm just going to stay on one case. This is a child possibly of a rape. That child's going to grow up what? You'll say the child will never know? Instincts, things, history, DNA, certain things. You have to look at what we're going to prepare ourselves for because there's a lot more than what they even know. It's just so much. They should have, when they made the decision, they should have had somebody representing from mental health. They should have had somebody from a different part of the law. They should have had social services there. They should have had so much there sitting at a round table to be able to come up with this decision because it is a decision that's going to affect everybody's life. You can have a 12-year-old could have been molested by somebody who was 30. So you're going to force that 12-year-old to go through something else and have a baby. Now you're forcing the parents to help take care of the baby to make a decision. So when that child gets older, no longer 12 and 24 years old, maybe that process of having a baby disrupted them so bad that maybe they can't have no more children. Maybe they don't want any other children. Maybe they just continue to keep having children because the Lord's not going to do anything about it. My parents can't do anything about it. So there's a lot of things that's being put into place already, just overnight. I think they made the decision a little bit too quick. I think that they should have looked at every aspect of this decision and they should have had other people involved in making that decision. Then they could have brought it to them. But I think that they just took it there and that was it.
that's the hot topic right now. I tell you, it's something else. I'm my brown people. You know, I'm looking at it like you look at how they did us with the pills, with the fertilization, the different stuff, and it's just like the government want to control everything about us as people, us as individuals. When this at some point in time, is are we commodity? Are we just commodity for the government, or are we truly humans? Or are we a
It,
person?
it's so sad. The government wants to control the people, but they can't even control the government. The government can't control the government. And that's where the problem is. Because they have no control over the government, they want to show power by controlling everybody else. And that's where they continue to keep going wrong. You're worried about what's going on in my house, but you're not worried about what's going on in the big house.
Hmm.
That's not the way you're supposed to do that. So my house is not my home. My house is not my home. My job is not my job. My car is not my car. My children are not my children because I have to get permission on certain things that I can do and say to them. And it's going to come to the point where I'm living with them. No, Ma, you can't say this to me because, no, Ma, I'm going out the door anyway because I don't have to come in here until 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to let me in. Otherwise, I'll call the police and I'm going to do this every night. You're opening up a door, a box that I don't think this society is going to be ready for. It's going to be nothing but chaos.
It's just funny that you say that because you you know how we discipline our kids And it's just like I see kids out in the street. If they can't get something, then they throw a tantrum. It's like they're having a tantrum. It's like it's gonna be my way or no way. And
Well, that's what some
that is
parts of the
no
government
way.
is doing. It's going to be their way or it's going to be no
Julie,
way. And this is
government
what's
been doing it.
happening. Yeah,
I mean, we
well, I'm
think
not
about
saying it's
even
something that's
even.
new.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think somebody needs to have a big paddle and just spank government. Just hold the paddle and put the word government in and just spank them because it's just getting to the point that someone has to take control. And it comes down to voting. You're either sitting back relaxing or the wrong people or groups of people are going into office and it's just going to be chaos. So many people complain about things, but those same people that's complaining, they're not going out to vote. We need that vote to make it a difference. And when you don't vote, then you shouldn't have a vote to say anything. You shouldn't complain about anything. Some people may say, don't affect me. Don't affect you right now, but tomorrow it will.
It's been a problem, and they know it's been a problem, and they know that voting is a major thing. Because if they knew that that was not going to be something major, they wouldn't have tried to stop us back then from voting. They passed these amendments, 13, 14, 15 amendment were passed, and then you go not even not even 2 years after you pass these amendments, you go back and you try to take them, and then you try to undermine them, and you try to you try to keep us in bondage. You try to keep us captive. You steady with it, and it has always been the government. Always been the government. They've always been the ring leader.
I was
In
looking at my Facebook page and I saw Martin Luther King's daughter on there giving a speech, and all I can do is just shake my head. Just shake my head. I said only. And then you start thinking about all of them that went before us and what are we doing? What did they march for? What are we doing? I'm just shaking my head. I said we should be ashamed of ourselves. We should really be ashamed of ourselves because some things have changed, but not enough has changed.
no, we act like people don't understand, and I see this all the time. And I'm not racist. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I have my family is diverse, but it just people act like we just been so far removed from slavery. Like it's been thousands of thousands of thousands of thousands of years. And like we just been having our rights for all these years, and we haven't.
I
You
think it's the
think
slave
about.
mentality of some individuals. They still have that type of mind. I don't know what it's going to take to pull people out of that. But some people, when they say set in their ways, some people are conditioned and they just can't get out of it. Those as young as 20, 30, 40 years old. Some people have a slave mentality, whatever that slave mentality may be. That's it. Their slave mentality may be me not getting up and going to work like everybody else, what people may consider being lazy. That's what they're saying that I am, so I am. That's the mentality that some people have. Is mental health is very important, and that's why I say that's who should have been there. It should have been several people from different aspects of mental health that should have been there. Because what is this going to do to a woman who really needs or wants that abortion? Her mental health is going to be all over the place. And then she has other children. What is going to happen to those kids? They're not thinking. They're not thinking. How many women are in a situation or will be in a situation where the husband is going to say certain things because now he thinks he has leverage? Husband and wife can agree that we'll wait 2 or 3 years before we have children, but no, he decided, well, we're going to have a child now. What does she say? No. Does no mean no anymore? You
Wow.
told us no, we don't have to have an abortion if we want to. So your no does not mean no.
Right.
So that's where that goes. No does not mean no anymore. So in other words, you didn't tell us the truth. So
Exactly.
that's going to open up another movement. No does not mean no anymore. So that's going to change because a woman laying there being raped, she can holler no all she want.
It means keep
No don't mean
going.
no anymore.
That means you can have
Because
your way.
you as a
That means
government
you,
just
because the
told them
government
no
don't
doesn't
say
mean
it.
no anymore.
It don't.
So what
No
is
don't
she to
mean no.
do? It sure don't. So there you go, somebody's slogan, no don't mean no anymore.
But what
Because
do no
you
mean?
just changed things by a vote.
What do no mean? That's gonna be the new. That's the new campaign. Let's find out what no
It
means.
doesn't mean no. It doesn't mean no. Not by the way that that's the way that I'm taking it. It no
Wow.
doesn't mean no anymore because you just said no how many decades ago? And now you're changing your mind.
I mean, they've always changed their mind. You go back. You look at. I'm about to go. I'm about to find it. I just did a paper. I just got 157 points out of 175 on this presentation that I did for this for this thing, and it say the 13th and the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment was passed. Now they gave us the right. They said we had the right. We was equal. We was all supposed to be equal. We was free. We was supposed to be equal. And then here come, we can do all that, but we can't vote. They didn't want us to vote. They didn't want us to have a say in nothing that they had to govern. It had anything to
You
do
know,
with them because they didn't think that
for a
we were
long time,
worthy. And these same people now, listen, these deceitful people have been for years. They not changed. So you look at these same people that we voted in to office, that made these permanent positions in this these people got permanent positions. These people make our lives. They can make our lives hell, or they can make our life. Well, they can't make it hell. They got that little control over what laws they can pass or whatever. But even back then, these people that fought for us, that fought during the American Civil War, that was fighting for to help us be free. These same people, huh, these same people now, 2 years after they done told us that we were free, we had the right, we can do this. Remind you, some of them they never told us that we were free. Remind you, they never told us that we were free. But these same people undermined us. Well, we were trying to develop the civil rights movement and standing up for our rights because now we've learned how to read. We're learning that hey, we are somebody. We are powerful. We can do this exactly what they do. And then what they do, because they got these powerful women. Then what happens during the civil rights movement? Here you come with the women empowerment. So then now they got the women going against the structure of the civil rights movement. The black now they can get the white women to come together with the black women. See, they always been trying to keep us divided, and to keep, if they got one way they can pull us apart. So then they got us telling, oh, we can do this because we was out there in those fields. We were out there having to tote stuff. We was out there having to do stuff. We had no choice because we had to survive. We was
I always
enslaved
say
too.
that the African American woman, and I always use the totem pole, we are on the bottom of the totem pole. And I say that to say this is that we're on the bottom of the totem pole because we're holding everybody up. No one else can do that but us. Just like you said, we've been out there toting things, we've been doing things. And I think some parts of society fear the African American woman. But we, as African American women and women too, we need to get it together a little bit more because if we do, it's going to be so much that we can do that I believe that people fear us. And I tell people,
Exactly.
keep thinking of us at that totem pole because we're holding everybody up. Everybody else is up there. They're not what you call on top of us, We're holding them up. If we move from the bottom of the totem pole, what do you think is going to happen from everybody else?
They're gonna
They're going to
tumble
fall
down.
apart.
Everything gonna collapse.
They're going to fall apart
But when
because
we
we
have to
are holding
understand,
them up.
if we as brown queens could come together, how powerful we would be. And because look at what's happening though. Look at society and what has happened. They said they were setting us free. Now they set us free. We were supposed to be, but Lyndon Johnson, his commission, the little group that he got together, they said that we will never be equal. He said we were going to be a nation that was going to be divided and unequal, and yet to this day, there was a report that was passed down in 1968. Got it? I got it all over here. But that still stands today. If you look at us now, where are we? Our men are still, a lot of them are not free. Mass incarceration, prison system overflowing, and then the ones that are not in the prison system, they getting trapped into some type of government. Our kids are running foster care over.
It's overflow, and it's definitely an
We just
overflow
look at,
with
but
foster
this has
parents.
all been a plan that's been set in place from the beginning. When they were saying we were free, we were not. Who keeps somebody for 2 more years after they done told you we was free? Why it take you that long? It don't take that long for I don't care where you coming from. It didn't take y'all that long to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. It didn't take them 2 years to travel by horse, by walking, by train, by whatever means of transportation they went. It did not take them 2 years. So why did it take y'all 2 years to deliver the message that we were free?
Because they were
Because y'all
planning.
had other agendas. They didn't want it.
While we thought one thing, they were still planning.
And they
And that's
still
just the
doing
way
it
that it
today.
goes. They'll tell us whatever it is that they want us to hear, but they're always planning.
And I try not to get into this a lot of this political going back and forth because these people be doing some crazy stuff. But today I was riding behind this car, and I'm down here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with all these people, and they got these little signs that they keep posting up on the back of their cars. It say, what that thing say? It say you tired. They say you ready to get Biden out of, and they be saying F Biden. They got, I'm telling these people they got flags hanging on they porch. Like we have the how they have the American flag and a different flag. That's how they flags be hanging on their porch, and they be saying forget our president. And then this one. Let me see what this man said because I took a picture of his thing today. I was riding behind him. And I just thought it was so funny because he it's like he just jumped over in front of me and slammed on brakes. Like he wanted me to see that sign. So I saw it. I saw it real good. It say he say it say something about honk if you want Trump back in office. And these people is trying to get Trump back in office down here. They running a campaign to get Trump back in office. They got stores set up everywhere. They got stores everywhere. After January the 6th, really, if that didn't show you that that man didn't care nothing about us, because if that had been us, we all know what would have happened. And then they didn't do nothing about it. They still allow it to happen. And still allow these people to walk around here. Some of them still holding their offices, because some of them was in government. They got offices. These people leading our country. These people leading cities, leading states. But
I think that with all of that, and I hear what you're saying, that at some point in time, we have to take responsibility for some things because we had President Obama, former President Obama in office for 8 years. And some people saw it as a way that I don't have to do anything. And I would hear it, my president is black. And that doesn't mean to sit back at that time. 8 years, he gave us the first four. When you knew that he was in office and things were supposed to have changed, and there were some changes that he made, a lot of people sat back because they thought they had it easy. Then they gave you another 4 years in office. What did they think? It wasn't going to last forever for him being in office. You have to do something. And that was the time for people to step up and to do something. But they sat back, thinking that it was going to last forever. And that's what I keep saying. It's the mentality, the slave mentality. We just sat back. Many people sat back. Now it's time to step forward again. And some don't even know which way to go. They don't know whether to go left or to go right or just to stand there waiting for somebody to push them forward. And it's sad because a lot of people are just standing still. And they realize you just can't stand still anymore. It's okay to move.
Right.
You don't need permission. It's okay. You know, I live in this state and I was living in a community, and what I was told was the people in that community, it is so thick and generational in that community. They don't leave that community. They get married, they have their children, they go to school, they work. They don't come out of that community. When I moved over in that community, I asked how to get to a certain place. They didn't know. And I had just moved to this state. They lived there all their life. They didn't know because they never been out of that area. And that's sad that they just didn't know. Some people are afraid of change. Some people think that that's their world right there. It's just so much that's happening. And again, I come up with mental health. It's a lot of mental health, and we need it here. Not just in this state. When I say here, we need it here. That needs to be addressed in so many different aspects. You can go into everybody's household. Someone in that household is affected by mental health. Somebody in that household is affected. They may say, oh, no, not me. No, not me. Somebody is at some level. They are. We all were affected with COVID. Nobody's walking away from that without any impact at all. We are all affected with mental health in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't care if you are a psychiatrist or a therapist. Somebody is affected by it in some way. If you are the psychiatrist and the therapist, you yourself are affected because you're dealing with these clients every day. Somebody is affected by it, every household.
Just being an African American, you are affected by trauma that has been passed down from generation to generation because of stuff that has not been dealt with, stuff that's been passed down to us that we have no control over, really. But when we're gonna say, okay, hey, this happened, it can't be erased, but how can I move past? How can I be the best version of me? I want to be the best version of me. I can't take I can't take nothing that my ancestors, nothing that was done to them. Let's let that go. Help me heal. Help me heal so that I can help
I
somebody
often
coming
say
after
that
me heal. So that we
I
don't have to
often say
go
to
through that.
people who's dealing with mental health, who have sometimes people who have diagnosis or need to be diagnosed. If you have a headache, you're going to look for some Tylenol, Motrin, or whatever it is that soothes your head.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a mental health challenge, you should be able to reach for something for that too. And you can reach for the phone and call and get some kind of services because you're treating the same thing. You're treating a headache, which is some form of pain that is throbbing or making you feel a certain type of way. But you've been living with that mental health disorder for such a long period of time that it's become a part of your everyday life, that you've managed it and you don't feel that pain anymore. You're just living with it. How long can you live with that headache without taking something for it? You're going to reach for it. If they took all of those pills and everything off the market where you couldn't have it, you'll go stir crazy with that headache. You don't want nobody to turn on the light. Somebody's talking too loud. You want to be by yourself. That right there looks like it's depression too. You don't want the light on. People are talking too loud. You want to be by yourself. You want to be alone. If you start looking up depression, you start looking that up too. So just think about it. The next time you have a headache and you know that you're dealing with other issues, but you can reach for that bottle of Tylenol, whatever the case may be, it's going to be no different. I encourage anybody that's dealing with mental health to seek some help. Because you're seeking help, you're going to tell your doctor, oh, I suffer with migraines. You go to your doctor for that. Oh, I have a toothache. Go to my dentist to fix. Quick fixes. It's a quick fix if you go for mental health because it's over a period of time that you will see progress. Believe me, I'm not trying to sell a campaign or anything else. You are definitely not alone when it deals with mental health. I dealt with it. I dealt with it. I think it's been like what 35, maybe 36, 7 years. I don't know. I was back in '85. That I do know. And I contemplated suicide myself. I wanted out. And I had a plan. I'm not going to sit there and tell you what the plan was, but I had a plan. And it was that one night that I was going to go through with it. When I say that he has a better plan, he had my mother send my nephew, who I raised, to my bedroom door to tell me to come watch this show. I said at the foot of her bed, I said, I'll go in there because this is going to be the last night that I'm here with her anyway, so I'll go in there with her. And I sat at the foot of her bed watching television. She did not know that I was sitting at the foot of her bed in tears, crying. I was crying so hard that it should have shook her bed. But I was doing, I don't want to say the black person's cry, but this person's cry. Like just holding it in and just trying to stifle it all in. I was crying. I was crying because I saw, watching Motown. I'll say his name. Some don't want to say it, but I saw Bill Cosby, Billy Preston, Joe Cocker, and Patti LaBelle. She came out singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I was sitting there in tears because I knew at that point that I was never going to walk alone again. Now I'm here. It's over 30-some years now. I think it's what, 37 years? This past May, and I counted because that's when it was shown on television, and I sat there in tears crying because she sang "You'll Never Walk Alone," and I was listening to the words of this woman, and it saved my life. It actually saved my life, and I can't thank her enough for doing that. I can't thank Motown enough for having her sing. I can't thank Bill Cosby enough for bringing her back out on the stage to finish that last line. I can't thank them enough for just that moment. Because had my mother, and I thank my mother for sending my nephew to that door, because if she had sent him the next morning, he would have found something that wouldn't have been so pleasant. So I thank her. I think suicide, and I did go see a psychiatrist after a while. I don't think anybody in my family even knew that. And it's been 37 years later that I did see a psychiatrist. And it wasn't because I was on drugs. I wasn't. I think I was a pretty decent person. I was raising children, but I didn't have my own at the time. But I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get back into school. I didn't want to be a prostitute, and I didn't want to sell drugs. So I figured that would be the best way out. Because when you do things like that, for me, it's just an ongoing thing, and that's still causing pain. And I just didn't want the pain anymore. I didn't know how to take care of those kids. I was really a kid myself. I was taking care of children. I had 3, just about, that I was taking care of. Things wasn't working. Welfare, oh boy. That wasn't working for me either. They kept sending me here, there, and whatnot. I say the system was broken. It's been broken for me for a long time. But it's funny that I work for the system now. And I do want to make those changes. So I think I have a hand up on some things. Life experience helped me out. but my life would have been nothing if I didn't sit up that night. So I talk about mental health. I needed it. And with 12 kids, sometimes I still need it. I need somebody else to talk to sometimes. And I get that. I have a host of people that I can talk to now. And it's not because of the mental health, because it does help me. I do speak to people I know who are psychiatrists and therapists, and I get to talk to them about myself, about things, because it keeps me grounded. But it also I can talk to somebody about being a parent of a person this age. I can think and talk to a therapist about reparenting my mom, and I'll say it low so she won't hear it. But when you're 97, you're starting all over again, and you're working through a lot. It's just so much to deal with. Things that I wasn't prepared for, because you don't have children to prepare them to take care of you. You don't do that. I don't know. I don't know anybody that has children to raise them to take care of me when I get older. But I hear them, Mom, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to hold you to your word. Now I hear my grandson, Grandma, you can live with me. And he's only 5. So I said, that's nice. So I don't know what he's hearing, but he must see what I'm doing with my mom. So you don't do that, but you do go get some help if you need it, because there's no shame in my game. I've seen a psychiatrist. I'm writing another book right now, so I'm still seeing a psychiatrist because my character will take me there. This character in this book has taken me to places that I didn't even think that I would ever go. So I do speak to a psychiatrist and a therapist. And then sometimes we talk about other things, and I'm grateful for them because they know the journey that I'm on and know the journey that I've been through. So now that I'm going to see a psychiatrist, not because of that type of mental health, because I'm dealing with everything. I have 12 different personalities that I'm dealing with, and those are my children. So I can't talk to one child always about another child because the problem could be them too. And they have their own lives. So I do speak to a psychiatrist and a therapist just to keep me grounded, just so I can continue to parent my children and so I can talk to other people as they're going through the journey of parenting their children. My youngest is going to be 11. Oldest I raised is going to be 46. So I've been around a little while. It wasn't something that I asked for, but I'm very happy that I got it. There are days where I say, oh, no, not me. I got to go. I'm just going to leave. Y'all can just keep everything. I'm going to go. But at the end of the day, my phone is not ringing. The babies are sleeping. And I just look back and I think about the whole thing. I would go through it again because I know a little bit more. Each day is a lesson. But at the same time, I just want to go through it differently, just with a little shift. So I know he's preparing me for something. I don't know what it is, but I'm holding on to my seat because I know that it's going to be a ride.
Wow. Well, I definitely have enjoyed you today. And I thank you for stopping by and sharing with us. This has been some great conversation today. I love your transparency. Um,
Thank
I
you.
want people to be able to connect with you. So how can they follow you? How can they support you? How can they connect with you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but I don't use it as much. Twitter, I'm still learning. You can reach me at author Black Diamond, BLAQUE is black.com. You'll see the same way on any part of social media. I'm author Black Diamond. I'll be in New York in 2 weeks with my mother, who is a co-author. So she's going to be there with me. And we're going to be talking and signing books and enjoying it. So this is the first time that we're doing this together. And I'm more excited than she is because my mother's going to be sitting right next to me signing books. I'll probably just push mine aside and just let her go right ahead and sign her book. But we're just so excited. So she's on there too. She has a Facebook page. She's 97 and she has a Facebook page. Of course, I manage it for her, but I always read her everything that anybody says. And she tells me what she wants me to say to them. So I type it in for her. But that's one of the ways you can reach me. I had given out my phone number one time, but I think I kind of regret it. So I won't try to put it out there this time. But that's the way that you can reach me. You can also reach me at Black Diamond 357 at Yahoo. So I'm on there for that. And I have some things coming up, and I'm going to hold on to them because there's some surprises. So just keep going onto my site, and you're going to be seeing little things add up on there to tell you exactly what's going on.
Definitely. And definitely, if you cannot get in contact with her, you can always reach out to me, and I would definitely connect you with her. So that would definitely not be a problem. I want to thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on today as we continue to celebrate Juneteenth, because we are our legacy, we are our history. So thank you for
You're
being a
welcome.
part of the history making, and creating and leaving a legacy, telling your story. So thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. I
Thank you.
appreciate it so much. I always enjoy coming on.
Well, I thank you. I thank you so much. And you make sure you tell Mama Forbes that I said hello.
I most certainly will.
Well, you have a blessed rest of your afternoon, your evening. I'm going to get ready for our next guest. So thank you, thank you, thank you for stopping by.
Bye.
I tell you, it's always truly, truly is a blessing as we prepare for our next guest to come up. I want to share this clip with you guys.
What is Juneteenth and why is it celebrated? Juneteenth is a blend of words, June and the 19th, celebrates the end of enslavement in America. June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. He informed the enslaved African Americans of their freedom and that the Civil War had ended.
I am my brother's keeper. I present to you some of the kings being featured inside Aspiring Authors Magazine Special, Men's History Edition. Stay connected to Queen of Collaborations on Linktree.com. I am Queen Angela Thomas Smith, making a difference in the kingdom where I can.
And we continue. I want to thank you guys for stopping by for part two of our Juneteenth celebration. I tell you, I told you I would have some amazing guests on this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are. I just wanted to share these amazing individuals. So my previous guest was author Black Diamond, a woman of many, many, many talents, many, many talents. My next guest, um, another special person to me. Um, she is not just an author. She's a pastor. She's an overseer. She's a seamstress. I tell you, she just have her hand in a lot. But I tell you, her spirit. She has one of the most humbling spirits. She's so loving. I told her I needed an intro, and I get a MP3 back with my intro that I've been using for my Monday morning motivation. So if y'all have that intro that y'all be hearing over there, this is who it is. Y'all the next face y'all see is gonna be the person that sings that intro. I am grateful for her. She is definitely creating and leaving a legacy, um, through her music, through her writing, and just being who she is. I'm so honored to be able to allow her to introduce herself. Um, she's also a writer for the magazine. When I tell you this lady supports the vision, she supports the vision, and she has her own vision, but she is her sister's keeper. And I appreciate her for that. And y'all, that's that village mentality that I keep talking about. She's an example of that. I'm going to move out of the way and allow this young lady to come up and introduce herself and to share with you guys what it is that she want to share on tonight. I present to some, reintroduce to some, overseer, pastor, doctor, my friend, Tamala Lucas.
Praise him. How everybody doing?
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good.
Won't complain, can't complain, ain't no need.
I was listening to Arthur Black Diamond. I said, "Woo, we got some similarities going on over there. All those children, hallelujah." And I've been surrounded by children my whole life. I am an educator, hallelujah, and God has blessed me to work with children since 1990. But even before that, my mother, she was going through her illness. Hallelujah. And I had to help, raise my siblings. And she said in threes. I started laughing because the first set of children that I have to raise was my siblings. That was a set of three. Then I birthed three. Then my bonus children were three. So it came in threes. But God is good. And I just give God a praise. And I thank God for Juneteenth, which means June the 19th, 1865. That's when a general went to Texas and said, okay, now you got to let these people go. You got to let them go. And even though they didn't want to let those people go, well, you know what got me? We think about that was the end of that, but it wasn't, because there is documentation. If y'all don't believe me, there is documentation that there was still slavery all the way to 1960. 1960. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? All these laws came out. That's why they don't want people, that's why they didn't want us to go to school. Okay? They didn't want us to learn how to read and write. Because if you know your rights, if you know your history, you can't repeat something that somebody knows. That's why they're taking history out of schools. And we sitting back. Oh my goodness. And I keep on telling parents to fight, but they won't fight. They won't. They refuse to. They think the teachers could do it by themselves. The teachers can't do this by themselves. It takes the parents. You can't get parents to come to the schools. You can't get them to come to the meetings. But if you do something to that child in their head, they up there to cuss you out. But they're not up there to help change those laws. And we need parents to please step up. Quit ignoring the news. This is 2022, 2022. And when I was teaching social studies, I love social studies and I love history. When I was teaching social studies, hallelujah, I made sure those children learn about Black history all year round. It wasn't no wait to no February. You ain't wait to no February. Everything you see and touch, Black people made. For real, let's prove it. And that's what I did. I proved everything. I said, if you touch that, Black people made it. You look at that, Black people made it. Black people made it. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. And they were just so shocked. I said, that's why they don't want you to understand your history. Because if you know how outstanding you are, how amazing you are, you won't even act the way you act. You be like, you can't tell me nothing because I got this. But if you don't know who you are, you will bend your head down. You will be sad because in your head you think, I just can't make it. I can't do this. I'm nothing. But we are just amazing people. The Black culture is just bam, and they know we off the chain. They, honey, put us in the gutter, honey. We will build houses. We will build something out of nothing. They couldn't figure out. They gave, slaves. They gave them slop to eat. They gave them the worst stuff to eat. You hear me? But that slop made them what? Strong. Can you imagine that? They was trying to be funny, but a backfire. Lord, sweet Jesus. They gave them all that pig feed and the chitlins and everything they didn't want. They gave to, but it made them stronger. And the
See,
beans, they didn't want no beans, and they didn't want everything that black people still eat today. Back in the day, it was considered disgusting. But
but now
now
a lot of places, a lot of these meals, a lot of them, it's delicatessens. All yeah,
sure is. Now it's expensive to buy the slop,
expensive.
you know. But it was
See,
slop.
and then you got to understand too. If you look at a lot of the um times during when we was having recession and the Great Depressions, and they government themselves and society themselves had to revert back to having to come up with different things. And who did they rely on? They had to rely on their helpers, their workers, their people, and most of the time, who were they? Us. We came up with tires. We came up with we came up with all kind of stuff. Came up with X-ray machines so that you can look at your body and see what was going on with you. But they
I'm
don't.
telling you, we came up all different kind of stuff, and I forget the doctor's name, and cause I taught Black history for years, but I forgot the doctor's name. He did the plasma to help people, take the blood out and put in another person.
Right.
That same doctor was in a car accident, and he needed a blood transfusion, and they would not give it to him.
Hmm.
And he was the one who taught him.
And that's what they
That's
do.
cold, ain't it?
I mean, that's what they do. They've been showing us this for years. They've been showing us this from since the beginning of us supposedly being free. That they're out for themselves. If it ain't making money, if it come against their money, then they ain't they not for you. And yeah, we had a lot of people that stood up for us during the civil rights movement. Yeah, we had them in there. We saw them. We thank you, appreciate you, but y'all still mean us no good. Because why? 13, 14, 15 Amendment passed, yet you undermine the same people that fought alongside of us during the American. I ain't gonna let it go because I want my people to know. The same people that fought alongside us, see, they taking all this stuff out. And let me tell you, my teacher was white. I'm in a business. I'm a business major. So you tell me why this is this is because they say we got to learn from our history.
Mm.
And that's when you say everybody taking it out. I said, I said they taking it out. I said, well, I'm glad college is putting it in. I'm glad college is putting it in because they put it in. And I know I'm sure a lot of my classmates was probably like, I wonder if she black or white because they don't know if we black or white. But I know they was probably wondering if I was black or white. I let them know I'm black because I always say my people, my people.
Mhm.
We got to wake up.
We
We act
do.
like we've been so far removed from this. Y'all, look at this. Look at these reports. You think this was 1942, 1968 when the civil rights movement took place. And these same people that signed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment was trying to undermine the 15th Amendment. Did not want us to have the right to vote. And
That's
yet
right.
still here in 2022, they still doing the same thing. Don't want us to vote. Why?
The same
Because they
thing.
said we're not worthy.
Yep.
That we shouldn't be making decisions for them. We shouldn't have the power to make decisions. Why? And I asked this. I'm gonna ask you some of the same questions I asked Black Diamond. Vote Roe versus Wade undermines. You change a decision. Y'all made that. Y'all made that decision. A lot of decisions have been based on that decision that was made. So now, do all those decisions that was based on that decision are all of them overturned now because y'all overturned that?
Well, you got to understand. when they said slavery was over, they try to find all different kind of ways to arrest us, the brown black people. So they come up with new rules. And what people can't see is if you get an abortion, whether it's you, the doctor, whatever, and your state um, does not approve it, guess who's going to get arrested? That mother and the doctor. So you got more people going to what? In the slavery system. Jail is slavery to me. I don't care what nobody say. That's a
It
system
is.
of slavery.
Ben, that was it. That's just they public way of doing it. I mean, if you think about it, you go back, you think about the police system and the judges. Who were they? Who were they? Who were they? Ex Confederate soldiers.
Yep.
Ex-Confederate soldiers. That was your
Yep.
judges, and that was your
Yep.
police officers. So who were
Yep.
they gonna police? These people told us. I mean, it's reports after reports after reports. These people said that we elected them. They gonna do what we tell them to do, or they gonna be out of there. And they're still here today. Like I ride around here. I'm in Myrtle Beach, and I ain't scared to say I wish one would. They down here. They the racist. They the most racist people I ever seen in my life. I deal with it. I deal with it. I see it all the time. I got behind a man. Matter of fact, I didn't get behind him. He got in front of me and tried to slam on brakes. So it brought attention to his plate and his tag on the back of his car. Are you tired yet? You ready for Trump to be back in office? Then they around him. They always talk about other people disrespecting, but they disrespect Biden. He the president. You don't have no respect for him. You got the FU sign, the FU flags. They got flags, American flags that say F Biden, and that's okay. And that's okay. I mean, you see, and then it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then all I see down here is our po kings, our black kings with all these Caucasian women. That's all. And I'm talking about some of them don't look like nothing. Not that looks matter, but some of them don't look like nothing. I was like, you can do better. Why do you feel like you got to be at the bottom of the totem pole? Who don't told you you ain't nobody? Who don't told you that honey, we are powerful. Do you know the power that you possess? Do you know? I got to go over here. I see Huni Bakatoon done been on here. Huni Bakatoon said he got to remind you. Huh. Do you know this? Do you know that Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 to 14 talks about you? Do you know that? Do you understand that? I'm talking about 2019, we 3 years removed. And we still walk around here like, ain't nothing happening. Some of us still walk around like we don't know the power that we possess. We sit around and let people talk to us any kind of way, let people lead us down the wrong road, let people do anything to us. You have to settle. Settle for what? Better know your power. Better know who you are.
A lot of people just don't want to speak up. They don't want to talk. They don't want to be responsible. Or they say, well, just be quiet. Shh, just be quiet. They don't want to get involved. Just be quiet. Let that go. Leave it alone. You can't let something go if it keep on smacking you in your face. How many smacks you gonna get before
I'm
you
saying I'm
stand up and
tired
say,
of
don't
that.
smack
I
me no
don't.
more?
They can't. They said turn the left cheek, the right cheek. Look, I don't turn my left cheek. I don't turn my right cheek. I don't turn my butt cheek. How many more cheeks do you want me to turn? I ain't got that many more cheeks. So how many more times do I got to humble myself? Because y'all done told us. This is what y'all told us. Y'all say humble yourselves. So we humbled ourselves. We cleaned y'all houses. We taught y'all kids. We did all this stuff. Humbled ourselves. We took on these domestic jobs in your houses. Even after slavery was over. We still worked for y'all, but y'all paid us. We still did that. We humbled ourselves. Okay? Then they say, okay, well, go get you an education. You want to do better, get you an education. So we do that. We go to school. We get these good jobs. We come out of school, get these so-called what we think is good jobs, what y'all say the American job, which a lot of just put us back in these plants and these mills and these places like that. Don't want us to be our own boss. So y'all want to keep us under constraint. So y'all put us in these, but we get these jobs. Then we get these jobs. We got to work so much because yeah, everything's so high. Then we got to work to try to keep up with this because then y'all say we got to do this, we got to do that. Then y'all steady getting this stuff, so we got to keep up with y'all. Y'all setting the standards. Y'all setting what we should be getting. Y'all wake up. Set your own standards. Know what you want, what you desire in this life, what your desires are. Stop allowing the government, because the government don't care nothing about us. They probably gonna delete this video, but they don't care nothing about us. They have never cared anything about us. I mean, the truth is the truth.
You
And
know,
it's time that people understand that and people know that. I mean, here you got report after report after report. I mean, this stuff is in this. I had to cite this. This is other people's work. This is not something that I made up. This is other people's stuff. These are other reports. So I had to cite this in my paper, letting them know that this was not my idea, that this was somebody else's idea. But I'm just letting you know that this stuff is going on. And when it's enough, it's gonna be enough. Then they throw around these little holidays. I got so tired of hearing the comments about Juneteenth. And if I want to celebrate Juneteenth in July, August, September, October, November, December, if I want to celebrate it 365 days of the year, I can. Because y'all kept it from us for 2 whole years. And then y'all kept some of us in bondage longer than that. Hundreds of years. So don't tell me. I don't want. They say, well, you got this. Okay. We got one day. I don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't want to celebrate July 4th. I don't want to celebrate a lot of these holidays that y'all forced us to celebrate back in the day. Because we didn't know what they was, but y'all done told us that we need to celebrate them. So what we do? We was celebrating them. We was getting us a barbecue. We was teaching y'all how to barbecue because y'all know nothing about no barbecue. We was throwing these big barbecues because that's what y'all say we supposed to do. We weren't even free. When y'all say that the United States was free, y'all was free from England, but we was still yet over here slaves. But we celebrate something every year. Coming up, this holiday is gonna come up again. Everybody buying their red and white, getting their fireworks, getting all that stuff in to celebrate again. Something that ain't got nothing to do with you. Because what you was free from. What was you free from in 1776? Huh? What was your ancestors free from in 1776 overseas? Because mine don't
1776.
free.
And this what gets me. A lot of people do know their history. They really do. And the 4th of July is coming from the independence of King George. You got on the boat to get away from a king because you wanted to make your own decision. You wanted to be free. You did not want anybody to make you do something. And yet, the very thing you went away from, you did the same thing to another people. The very thing you hated, you the one who got on the boat and said, I am not going to listen to King George. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go over here to a land that you thought that nobody was there, but the Native Americans was here. And I'm going to go over there. I'm going to conquer this land that was dying off. And who kept them alive? The Native Americans. They showed them how to breathe in this environment, how to live, what kind of herbs to take from the earth to live, and then turn around and you killed them. You killed the chiefs. You killed the men off. You murdered all the men in front of their wives and from their children. You murdered them to put fear in the women and the children, and then you took their land. You took their land. And then you turn around and then you went and got some blacks and you enslaved them. But the very thing you ran from, you did what you ran from. It's like, what? It don't make any sense. But that's what they did. Because they didn't have that kind of freedom in England. They should have stayed over there. But they weren't gonna stay over there. They said, we need freedom. And then they took somebody else's freedom. They didn't the freedom that they didn't have, they took somebody else's freedom. It's like boom, 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 a recyclable. It just keep on going on and on and on. And that's what they're afraid of because
they're afraid of their freedom repeating itself. They were
Yep.
afraid of they becoming. They already know what it is. They already know what it is. They know they can't over. They know they can't over. They can't overpower us because they too weak. Physically, we're stronger than them. We're stronger than them. And these people are scared. They come up with all kind of stuff. But see, they just don't know what what they doing. See, they don't in infidel in what when they was birth control, they was giving the women birth control that was causing infidelity. They couldn't get pregnant. Women couldn't get I said infidelity. That what I meant to say.
Infertile.
Infertile. That was causing them to be infertile, not causing them to cheat. But was causing them to be not able to get pregnant. And now you want to tell them if somebody raped me, I can't go. So now, so does that include the Plan B pill?
They don't know yet. It could be. It could be.
Didn't say, no, they said Roe versus Wade. That means somebody go in and physically actually remove.
They don't know yet.
Because according to okay, so since
they don't know yet. According to the news, it said it might affect all contraceptions. I said, yeah, and truly lost your mind.
But how is they? Who gave them? How they have the power to do that? So you mean to tell? Okay, make some sense out of this, please. Please help me make some sense out of this. You got to help me make some sense out of this because I'm lost right now. Okay, so the government got the power to tell us that we can. Not that I'm just gonna have to say this too. I really don't have a say because I feel like if something is, I'm for life, but if there's a problem and a life needs to be taken to save a life, I'm also for that. So I don't know what you call me. But I ain't finna just be going around allowing and just saying, okay, you can take a life. No, that's not what I'm for. But if a life for a life to save a life, then yeah, I'm for that. But so these people telling me that it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for someone that's been raped or someone that has had something or whatever, or if they just choose not to have a child, that they can't have a child. But it's okay for you to be born one way and to change yourself another way. So is they gonna overturn that? Because that made way them Roe versus Wade, the woman having the right to choose. The woman having the right to choose was what they based that on. That's what they based that on.
The goal,
and that's what a lot of people. That's how a lot of people fought and got they start being able to transition and change because of that Roe versus Wade. So now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned and a woman don't have a right to choose, then how can a person have a right to choose who or what they are? when they was
The
born something
goal is to reverse that too. The goal is to reverse that. The goal is to get rid of same-sex marriage. The goal is to get rid of all of that. That is the goal. That's their next steps.
so that's that. You think it's gonna be a lot of people, because a lot of these people know a lot of these people that's going to be mad and affected by these reversals. These are the people that voted these people in office. These are a lot of these people, vote these people in office, and then they going against everything that they said they was gonna do. They going against the agenda. They oh, we might see some stuff going on here later. We might see some stuff going on for real. I don't know. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on now.
Well, that's and somebody got mad because what they was trying to do, they was trying to do this undercover, and then it got leaked out to the public, and that's why a lot of people couldn't catch it. They couldn't catch it to stop it because they was doing a lot of stuff undercover, and that's why people need to pay attention to when these people be writing these laws. But a lot of people not paying attention. It's too late.
Because they don't. I feel like a lot of these people they don't follow. They not involved in they local community, so they don't know what's going on locally. A lot of this stuff start locally, and then when it start locally, then they can get away with it. They can get away on the city level, the state level. Then they start going to the governor level. They can get away on that level. Then that's when they start going. They just say, okay, well, we represent our state, and our state ain't for this. And then that's when you get a few in cahoots. I'm telling you, people don't follow. They don't follow nothing. We don't get we as brown people. We're not active in government. We're not active in our local government. I ask people, how many times do you go to your city council meeting? See, when I was in Anderson, South Carolina, I used to go to the city hall meetings. I used to go to United Way meeting. I was active. I went and did stuff, and I see a lot of people up there doing stuff now that they weren't doing when I was there. But people, somebody had to be a trailblazer. Somebody had to set the way. Somebody had to say, okay, now we got to go out and do it. Now I see a lot of people starting to go to these things. Now a lot of us need to get up and go. We can't keep
And just
being quiet because if we
right.
keep saying, "Oh, that don't affect me. That ain't happened to me. That's not my family. That's not." Yeah, okay. Then when
And
it
all you
do
gotta do is
affect you,
volunteer. Do some volunteer work, and you'll learn a lot. Do some volunteer work, and you can get familiar what's going on. They'll tell you, this is what you need to do next. Even in your neighborhood, when they have those neighborhood meetings, sometimes they have council members to come in and tell you what's going on. If you don't know how to do that, just type it in. Type in your neighborhood and put my neighborhood and put committee, community meeting. And they'll tell you when they meet because they meet every month. But we got to get involved and find out what's going on. And when I was watching the news, they said they have never seen like only a few people to go vote. They said they ain't never seen it before in their life. It's like there was no line. People just walked in, walked out. They said, where everybody at? Like nobody, they like, forget it. I'm not gonna vote. So now we got this guy in Ohio. I forget his name. He's a Republican. He don't like blacks. So if he don't like blacks, that means he don't like nobody else. And he already said out his mouth. And so what can you do with that? Nobody went against him. Nobody voted against him. No, everybody that sat back and said, my vote don't care. Your vote does care because people walk in, they can get these different positions because nobody cares. And then when you get mad, when the things start changing, how this happen? Because you didn't vote. It's a mess. It's a mess.
it is. It definitely is. But I definitely whew, we got our hands. We got our hands full. We have to keep pressing this message. You know, I cannot sit down on this. I want my brown people to know that they have purpose. that they didn't get dropped out of the sky, that they're supposed to be doing something, that they're supposed to be impacting this world, that we have to be the change that we want to see. We keep saying that we won't change. We have to be the change that we want to see. You know, I'm devastated by some things that I've heard and seen over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people have probably been wondering where I've been, why I've been so quiet, why I've been so silent. But it's just been so much going on. I shared a little bit with you, Pastor. Um, but it's just been so much going on. But I never stopped working. I never stopped going because I know that God has given me a voice. He's given me a platform. He's given me the opportunity. I will not sit down until my people, until my eyes shut or my people wake up. I will not sit down. I will not be quiet. I want them to know that they got purpose and they have power on the inside of them. You can't do it alone. First it takes you humbling to the Creator and allowing Him to lead you. But then understanding that you're not on this journey alone. That He's placed brothers and sisters in your life for us to be helpmates one to another. We're not on this journey by ourselves. We're supposed to be helpmates one to another. I tell people all the time, we got to learn how to experience the E3 experience. You got to experience that thing. You get all this stuff on the inside. You get all this knowledge. You get all this stuff, and then you sit on it. For what? If you croak tomorrow, if you die tomorrow, it goes where? With you. And it's over there in that box. It cannot resurrect itself. And the people's lives that you were supposed to touch, the things that you were supposed to touch, is over there with you. Now, that is on somebody else. Now somebody else got to work double time to try to catch up and to make up. I know I failed. I'm working double, triple, quadruple time now to make up for those years that I was totally lost. Because I was lost for a long time. Didn't understand that I had power and that I could change my life if I would just humble myself and just allow God to lead me. Because I'm out here trying to discover stuff. Ain't that what can I discover? It's already in me. His Genesis 2:7, he said he breathed the breath of life. He breathed that breath of life. That means a part of him is on the inside of me. Everything that I need is already in me. That power that we talking about, we trying to discover ourselves. We trying to define me. Discover. This is what you do. Humble yourself. Acknowledge Him. And go ahead and invite Him in. Just say, come on. Because I'm going to tell you, the word say, if you make your bed in hell, He's going to be right there. But He didn't say He was going to stay down there with you. He said He would be there. But He didn't say He was going to stay there with you. So let me tell you something. That scripture that say the righteous fall 7 times, you better pick yourself up. You better dust yourself off. And you better run on. And see what it's going to be. Because your destiny is already lined out for you. Ain't nothing changing under the sun. It's already preordained. You got to catch up to it. I'm trying to catch up to mine because I wasted too many years doing what Angela wanted to do. I'm trying to catch up with God say I'm supposed to be doing. And what He already ordained for me to do, that's already laid out for me. It's not going to change. It's already laid out. Just like your destiny is laid out for you. He knew that you was going to be going down there to Florida and singing on the red carpet. He already knew that. You had to catch up to that. He knew what that it was going to be, but you had to catch up to it. It was all, when He said it was done, it was done. I'm telling you, I'm so grateful. I get excited about these type of celebrations. Celebrate us because people have told us, "Oh, you ain't gonna be nobody. You ain't nobody. You did this." Honey, we carried this country, we carried this nature, and we carried this world. To talk about, not we don't talk about just Black history, when we talk about women history, you talk about how they used Black women during
Mhm.
they used us during the women empowerment movement to empower women, to get women to say, oh, they don't need a man, they don't need this, they don't need that. Yeah, we do. The words say we do. Yeah, we do.
That's right. That's right.
And then a lot of stuff start coming into play. They say, oh, y'all out there in them fields, toting them things on, toting stuff on your head. You can do that. You don't need no man to do nothing for you. You don't need no man to do that. You don't need no man to do that. So they put you in the projects. They give you welfare. They give you stuff so you don't have to. So you don't need. So you say you don't need a man. Okay. And then they start feeding you. Then they start looking at you. Then they start feeding the women to you. Then they start, oh, it's okay for you to be bisexual. It's okay for you to want a woman every now and then. They make it so glamorous. They make it so glamorous and so divish and devilish. And I mean diva and so queenish. No, the devil is a lie.
That's right.
I need a man because that's what the words say. I need a man because he said I come from a man. I need a man because he said he's my helpmate. I need a man because I can't produce by myself. I can't produce with no woman.
That's
And no
right.
man can't produce with no man.
That's right.
It is what it is. I'm sorry, a lot of people gonna be offended, but it is. It is what it is. I don't love you no less, but right is right. And we wonder. I'm just looking at a lot of stuff that just finna be overturned. And just like, when is it, when, like Arthur Black Diamond said, no don't mean no no more. Because you're clearly saying that all this can happen to me, but I don't have the right to say no. So what is it? What do no mean? Please, somebody tell me what no mean. What do no mean to the government? What do no mean in this day and time?
And you know the sad part and the scary part? Being an educator, a lot of educators, we see a lot of children in foster care. And half of them are in foster care because they was raped. And now that's the foster care system is gonna get, it's just gonna overflow. It's just gonna overflow. Because these women, if they can't get to the state that don't have this law, because it's by state by state. If they can't hurry up and get over there and get their abortion, they're gonna birth a child, and that child gonna go to foster care. And we got a
So what
whole
happens
bunch of
when
children in foster care.
what's going to happen when we have to deal with these people that, because these cases have happened, they have been molested and had to give birth, and now they forced to raise these children. They can't give up. They can't give them up for adoption. They can't go and they have to raise these kids. And then now they got to look at this child that remind them of that rape every day. And they got to live with that trauma. They got to live with that PTSD. They ain't gonna be able to work no jobs. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And how? When they already say the SSI, they say Social Security gonna be going away. So who gonna take care of them? Who gonna take care of them? I mean, really, like Diamond say, who did they bring to the table when they was having these conversations? Did they bring anybody that had to do with mental illness in to the table to talk about this? Did they bring anybody from the school system in to talk about this? Did they bring anybody from the foster care system in to talk about this? Who was they having these meetings with when they was having these meetings to decide that they was gonna overthrow something, that they was gonna overturn something? Who did they meet with? It
This
was
what
just
gets me
they personal thoughts. They just what they
right.
thought was right.
This
Who
what
did they
gets me
consult with? Did
if
they even have a
if
committee? Like most presidents, the presidents have in the past that have allowed these things to happen and wrote these legislation and wrote these laws in and had these things passed. They've had committees and they've had people come in and draw a conclusion, come up with a hypothesis, and they gather all they facts and they come together and they talk about it. But where did they do that at? Where did they do? When did they do
This what gets me.
the overturning of this?
This what gets me. If they really, really, really had a concern about the good versus the evil, they should have put prayer back in school. If you really, really want to make a change, that's what they should have went after first. But no, they don't want to put prayer back. They don't want to put prayer back.
They know prayer is powerful. And then you talking about you talking about us now. You talking about brown people now. Because see, we some praying people. Now you put some prayer back in school. You put prayer back in school. These kids gonna be we already starting to see geniuses popping up out of kids gonna be graduating in 5th and 6th grade. Put prayer back in school. They afraid of that. Because they know what we capable of. See, they know if they take, man, these folks ain't crazy. These folks knew. That's what sustained us back in the day. That's what carried us back in the day. That's what got us through slavery. That's what got us through all that torment that they put us through, all that trauma that they put us through, all that stuff. Prayer. Why you think they muzzled our mouths? Why you think they did that? Why you think they took all our languages from us?
Mm-hmm.
Prayer. The power of prayer. The power of knowing what's on the inside of you. The power of being able to tap into that's in you. And that's what a lot of these people are afraid of. They're afraid of that. So now they come with all these different things in this. Man, I'm telling you. Pastor, it's a whole, people just don't understand. Juneteenth, Black History, period. It's so much involved in that. It goes so beyond. When I used to tell people that my platform was more than books, they didn't even understand what that was about. They used to look at me like I was crazy. Because I did not know that it was going to be all of this and that God was truly going to do this, that he's done and he's allowed this. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because I ain't no theologian. I ain't no pastor. I'm working in no office, but God just so good. He placed people in your life that can show you the word and can help you to walk that word out. See, it's something. We can read it all day because I'm one of those people. I used to say all the time. I'm like, everybody keep talking about how blessed they is and how this and how that. I just don't see it. I can't. But I tell you, when I opened my mouth and said that, honey, he showed me some stuff. Showed me some stuff. I'm telling you, 2012 woke me up. Tell you just gotta, you just hang in there.
That's right.
Just don't open your mouth and ask for it. Just go through it and just allow it to come because it's gonna come. Just before it comes, be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
See, people just told me you gotta be saved. You gotta be this, you gotta be that. They didn't tell me that when Johnny called you at nighttime, how to tell that devil to go on by his business and how to resist that devil. So they didn't tell you that. They just told you that you had to be saved and that you had to go to church and you had to do this. They didn't tell you how to do this and how to do that and how to make him make you a wife. How to be a wife. They didn't tell us all that. They tell us all that. And then we wonder why a lot of this stuff is happening. And we're going through so much. And we're experiencing so much. Because ain't nobody picking up their word. They ain't reading it. Everybody complaining, but they ain't understanding that, hey, it's already been said that this going to happen. Now what you going to do about it? He done told us.
That's right.
Like, the blueprint is here. I'm talking about you go back over, you read in some of the scripture, we talking about and then we talk about the different types of mental illness and we talk about all this stuff, but ain't nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
All this stuff been done before. We just ain't experienced it. But when you ain't experienced something, when you ain't been through something, what you do?
Repeat it.
You go back to your history
You sure
and you
do.
read and you find out how did they do it. So now we got to go back to the word and we got to find out what did they do? How did they do it? Because the enemy, he coming. He ain't been nowhere, but he coming hard now. He coming real hard now. Because he got some people that said, okay, here, let you use me for a little bit. But see, the ones that's on the ones that stand, they gotta be like, okay, no, devil, you ain't winning this. We got some more fight in us. We ain't giving up. I ain't giving up. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. I'm my brothers and my sisters gonna wake up one day. And one day I hope I get to see it. If not, until my eyes shut, I'm gonna be telling them, you got purpose.
That's
you got
right.
power. You better go over and read Genesis 15, 13, and 14. You better go read Genesis 2 and 7. You better know Jeremiah 29 and 11 is real. I'm telling you. Woo! Juneteenth. All that we haven't do it. But yet we press.
Amen.
Yet we press. And then you look at some of us, you be like, I know people be like, phew, you ain't been through nothing, honey. I'm glad. And I said 1,000 times, I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through.
Hallelujah.
Because I would look like a hot, diggity mess. So I am so glad I don't look like what I went through. Because people look at me and they be like, Miss Angela, you is not. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm that end song. They be like, no, you not. Yes, I am. I'm pushing 50. Y'all talking about. Yes, I am. But I'm glad I don't look like.
Hallelujah.
Been through some things. But I thank God for you. Before we leave here, because I feel like we don't have church tonight. God is good. And I know I've been a ghost, but God is good. And he's yet faithful. I thank him for you. Please, you have to share how they can follow you, how they can support you, some of these amazing events you have coming up. Of course, our book project, some of the things, just share how they can support you because you have a lot that's going on. Of course, y'all, she is the other half of ANTA at your service, Angela and Tamala. Y'all, we do, we help you. If you want to write a book, we'll help you. And we don't charge no arm and a leg. Like, we help you if you want to produce podcasts, you want to do different little stuff, we help you. We are in the helping business because you know what? Somebody helped me along the way. Somebody helped me if it wasn't nothing but a word. I had so many people tell me, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that. And then here they come with the price. I don't have people do this and do that. But God, he'll send a video. Here, you can be watching the video and after your video go off, he'll pop up another video and that video be just what you need to show you how to do something that you've been wanting to do for a minute. That's the God that I serve.
Amen.
And I didn't understand in 2016 when he told me. He said, it ain't just about books. He said, so go ahead and tell people when they come on your platform that it's more than books. And people used to look at me like I was crazy. And I would be telling them, and then I'll get on these lives, and then I'll start just sharing the word. No, I ain't no theologian. I ain't no none of that. But I know what God has done for me. And just as he's done it for me, he'll do it for you because he has no respect of person. I went over in I think it was Exodus, somewhere over in Exodus. I want to say Exodus 4, it might have been Exodus 9, I don't remember. But he said, in the word, he said, if I open my mouth, I ain't got to know what to say, because he'll speak for me. Yeah.
Glory. Hallelujah.
He said, if I just walk, if I just go get in the car, he'll show me where to go. I ain't got to know where to go. He'll show me where to go.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
And I open my Bible, and it's been days, Ain't nothing nobody told me, something that I experienced for myself.
Amen.
I opened my Bible, was going through some stuff, and just opened the Bible and just began to read it, and I ministered to myself. The word ministered to me. The word ministered to me. Those words came off those pages and became life to me.
That's right.
And I didn't have no particular place to go. I just opened it up. And then he began to have me go to this scripture, go to this scripture. And I was just going back and forth. And I was over here getting happy with myself, getting happy on the inside.
Yes,
When
Lord.
you're ready to
Yes,
come
Lord.
out your mess. He there.
Yes, Lord.
All you got to do is invite him in. He ain't
Invite
never
him
left.
in.
He ain't never left. He breathed
Hallelujah.
breath of life in you. He created you in his image. He's on the inside.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
He'll never leave you. He said, his word said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. You got to tap into that. That's on the inside of you. He's
Yes,
waiting.
Lord.
He's giving you gifts and talents. Allow him to stir it up. Allow him to wake it up on the inside of you. All those things that you desire to do. All those things that you have passion for. Those things that you just that just make you leap, that make you just want to run for joy, leap for joy, make you want to run, that just give you peace. This is what I do, y'all. Just give me peace. Just give me joy. No, it don't make me millions of dollars. But the fact that I can see other people share their stories. The fact that this 97-year-old lady gonna be able to share this book next month. This month coming up. She ordered a whole box of them. She gonna be at a book signing in New York signing books. The fact that 97-year-old lady, if don't nobody else do another book project with me, the fact that 97-year-old lady got to share her affirmation, her words, her wisdom is out of here. That made what I do worth it. If don't nobody else do another thing, that made it worth it. And I thank God for it, because he didn't have to. He didn't have to make that connection. And I thank him, because he wanted somebody to know that it don't matter how old you are. If I can do it for her, I can do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That village, that collaboration, that networking, that partner, that coming together, not thinking that it's about me, but it's about all of us. Because if it had not been for her affirmation, her 10 affirmations in this book, I wouldn't have had 138 women. I wouldn't have had 365 affirmations. I wouldn't have had 402 pages. So all of it came together for a purpose, to touch lives. Y'all, this book has been going around the globe with people in Finland. I'm like, Finland? People in Finland? Who live in Finland? Ireland. I'm like, Ireland? Who in Ireland? They see us? Woo! Yeah, I'm telling you, God is good.
Yes, he is.
And I'm just grateful. Again, I thank him for Juneteenth and this opportunity to share. Apostle, overseer, pastor, doctor, please tell us.
Just type in my name, Tamala Lucas. You'll see me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm on 6 different podcasts. I'm there everywhere. If you want to talk to me, you can do Facebook Messenger, like Black Diamond. I'm not giving out my phone number because people did call me. But you can call me on Facebook Messenger. Amen. Hallelujah. But I am here for you. Like I said, Angela and I, we do work together to help you, get your books out there, podcasts, all that stuff. Just get in touch with us. We do have a fee, but we're not going to charge you an arm and a leg. I know how it feels to be charged arm and a leg. Like, dang, and I'm going to get that back in return when I sell my books. But we're not going to charge you arm and a leg, but type in my name and you will find me everywhere.
Amen. Well, I thank you again for coming by and sharing with us on today. Is there anything you would like to share inspirational with the people to encourage them as we go into this new month? We're getting ready to head into a new month. This year is almost over. We're halfway there, and I just want them to know that your first 6 months may have been hectic. It may seem like everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, but know that you can finish strong. And I just want you to encourage them on today.
It's never too late to complete your dreams and keep your mind on the Lord. The word of God says, they keep their mind right here. Stay on Jesus. It didn't say the television. It didn't say the news. It didn't say the neighborhood. It said they keep their mind, this right here. That means get in the word. Get your Bible. Oh, I don't have time. You got audio. God made it easy. We pick up our phone every day. You can click on there and put the word on your phone while you drive, and you can listen to the word while you're going back and forth. We have no excuse. Put that word in you, because they keep their mind stayed on you, because what we see now is nothing compared to what's about to happen. But if your mind is not on the Lord, you're going to lose your mind. So you got to keep your mind stayed on God, and he'll give you peace. Because see, trouble don't come to everybody. And then trouble comes to that side, but not that side. Why? So that the person who's not going through something can lift up that person who is going through something. Because if we all down, we in trouble. That's why some people up and some people down. So we can pull each other out. Hallelujah. So keep your mind stayed on God. Hallelujah. Fight for yourself.
Well, I thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on today.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you. I pray that the rest of your evening is blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I tell you, I truly enjoy having them stop by, especially Apostle Overseer. I keep calling her Apostle Overseer, Pastor Dr. Tamara Lucas. We're gonna have Apostle on later. Y'all know she's a part of several of the platforms that we are on. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this broadcast for now. If you will, jump back on around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going live again for our last guest, Dr. Kimberly, Apostle Dr. Kimberly Thomas is going to be stopping by. And I'm sure it's going to be another treat. So y'all, please come back if you can. If you were blessed by anything that I've been sharing over these last 2 hours, from Black Diamond as well as Dr. Tamara, please share this in your circle, y'all. We as people have to do better. We as brown people have to learn how to come together, y'all. So please share this in your circle of influence. I will be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys.
What is Juneteenth and why is it celebrated? Juneteenth is a blend of words. June and the 19th celebrates the end of enslavement in America. June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. He informed the enslaved African Americans of their freedom and that the Civil War had ended.